Hey, I'm Don from Don Does Stuff, and today we're going to show you how to make a very simple nacho dip. Let's dive in. So we're going to start with 2 blocks of Philadelphia cream cheese. I've had these out on the counter for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. But if you forget to take them out of the fridge, that's not a big deal. Just put them in the microwave for maybe 20 seconds, something like that, and they'll soften up nice. If they're not soft, you won't be able to blend in the taco mix. So let's start with that. So you'll want a nice big mixing bowl. Just pop your 2 blocks of Philadelphia cream cheese in there. You'll want a package of taco seasoning mix. Now, this happens to be Clubhouse, but whatever brand is available to you. And you want to sprinkle a little bit of that, not too much, maybe a tablespoon or 2 into your mixing bowl. And then with a fork, just start blending that up like this. It'll take a while, so this is when you'll appreciate if you have softened that cream cheese, because otherwise this part would be impossible. A little more, oops, a lot more taco seasoning. You want that cream cheese to have a little bit of color to it. All right, so when that's all blended up, you can see the color's pretty consistent there. I mean, there's a little bit of chunks here and there. In the end, I used about half of that package of taco seasoning. But when it's ready, get your serving dish. Now, in this case, I'm just using a baking pan. It's a 13 by 9. And it can be anything. Doesn't really matter, does it? So plop your cream cheese mix in there. You might need somebody to lick the bowl. And spread that out in your baking dish. Now, you don't want any of these layers, so we're going to be building it up into layers. You don't want any of these layers to be terribly thick, because when you scoop your nacho chips into the mix, you want to be able to easily get all layers with one dip. So just spread it out as evenly as you can. This isn't a baking competition, so if you screw it up, who cares? Nice. So you want about the same thickness in each layer, not anything too wildly out of balance, if I could use that expression. All right, that looks good enough. Well, might have to eat that. All right, so now that you've got a nice thin layer, see, it's maybe, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch thick, something like that. Next is sour cream. So we're going to put a layer of sour cream on. Probably need about half of this tub, maybe the whole tub. And you can use any kind of sour cream that you like. My fingers are all slippery from the cream cheese. Just give it a little bit of a mix and plop it on. Again, you want the layer roughly the same as the other one. So we'll see how that turns out. We may need the whole tub. I think we will. Yep. Okay. So that was half the tub. Let's put the whole thing in. Again, it sort of depends on the size of your pan that you're going to use and all that kind of stuff. And again, just kind of smooth it out, try to make it as even as you can, but I don't think anyone's going to complain if there's just a little too much sour cream. And I don't think there is. That's perfect. All right, sour cream, done. Next, what we're going to do is put a jar of salsa mix. I happen to have El Paso, and this is a thick and crunchy one, but whatever turns your crank, whether it be spicy or hot or whatever. Okay, you might need somebody to open the jar for you with slippery fingers. All right, that looks delicious. Just gonna spread that on. That's almost the entire jar. Let's give that a little spread. All right. Yeah. Okay, that's the entire jar. That was a 650 milliliter jar. Whatever that is in ounces. All right, there's the salsa. That looks perfect on there. So next step is to put shredded cheese on top. I happen to have a bag of Kirkland Tex-Mex on the go here, but you can use cheddar, you can use whatever turns your crank. And again, a reasonable but not too thick layer, because you want to be able to get right through all these layers in one go. But you want to have it pretty much covered. There we go. Okay, rinse my hands off a bit. Now, just because I happen to have some around, I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan on top, just to add a little bit of interesting flavor. Not too much, because Parmesan's can be pretty strong, but that'll add just a bit of something. So next we're going to slice up some fresh green onions, and for putting on the top, cut the ends off there, and I go up about to there. I know a lot of people use their whole thing, but I don't. Okay, so we're just going to slice these up thinly. And again, not terribly important that it's too thin, but you don't want big chunks of green onion. And if you can get them on an angle, that's probably a good idea too. And if I knew how to chop, I'm sure I'd be impressing you with my chopping ability, but I like my fingers. And if you have some that are maybe a little bit too big, just chop them up. Okay. Looks perfect. Grab our dish. Chuck them in. Again, you want to kind of spread them around, which I have managed to fail to do, but whatever. So you could stop right there if you wanted. I mean, that looks fantastic and everyone will love it. I'm going to add some jalapeno on the top, just a bit for those who like that. And of course, hands are all slippery. Just going to grab yet another spoon. And just, these are already pre-sliced. That looks a little big. I'm gonna, you know what? These are way too big. I'm gonna cut them up before putting them on, or people are gonna lose their minds. So yeah, these were a little big coming out of the jar, so I just slice them up a little bit. And the nice thing is that you can prepare this in advance. It'll keep in the fridge covered with saran wrap for 2 or 3 days, and you'll be all set for the party or event or whatever. There we go. What do you think? So just serve it up with your favorite nacho chips or scoops or whatever turns your crank, and everyone will enjoy this.